Hi, guys. I felt like I wanted to have a little chat with you guys today. I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of a pep talk in life. This was a rather stressful week for me, and I wish that somebody gave me this pep talk this week. I've said this in a few of the episodes already, but I'm kind of in this middle place right now in my life where I know that I'm between two chapters, and I'm a very emotional and sensitive girl. And I like to think that I'm very emotionally intelligent. So for me, whenever I go through things like this in life or really hard times, it's easy for me to kind of separate myself almost and zoom out of what I'm feeling and understand that this is for the greater good, or I can see the full picture. So it's a little bit easier for me to just accept and go through it. Sometimes it's not so easy, but sometimes it is. And this is one of those times that I'm just kind of going with the flow and I'm letting things happen as they will. I kind of just wanted to make this centered around anybody else who feels like they're kind of between two chapters in life right now, and the things that have helped me, or what I do to feel better, or the things I do to feel close to myself or to feel grounded. Maybe there's a big change that has happened in your life and you're trying to readjust and find your balance again. Going through a time like this is incredibly difficult, and sometimes it can be extremely isolating. And you feel like not only is everybody else around you unfamiliar, but suddenly you're unfamiliar with yourself. It almost feels like there's a separation from your soul and your body, and you don't know who you are, and you have no grip on anything, and everybody is moving at 1,000 miles a minute, and you just feel like you cannot keep up no matter how hard you try. And even though it may feel this way, that's not the truth. Life is really tough, and sometimes the people in your life can make it worse, and they can add a lot of pressure, whether this comes from bosses or friends or families with really high standards or whatever it may be. And they almost don't give you grace for going through things, or they feel like you should, because they would deal with the situation differently, means that you should have dealt with it better and you should have dealt with it the way that they dealt with it. And I'm just here to tell you that that is complete bullshit. And the way that you are dealing with situations, as long as it is safe and you or nobody else is getting hurt or harmed in these situations, deal with them how your body and your soul needs. So even if you can give 100% Monday and that's you doing your best, on Tuesday doing your best might look like you're sitting at 75%. Or on Wednesday, you might be back up to 100, but Thursday and Friday, you're at 25%, and that's your best. And some people won't give you grace for that. And they're going to feel like maybe you're making excuses, or maybe, the situation doesn't seem that serious to them. So they're disappointed in you or whatever it may be. I need you to block all of these people out. And I need you to do what is best for you and really take care of yourself in this time. Something that I leaned on when I was going through a really hard time was I almost looked at myself like I was a different person. Like I was my own best friend, and my own best friend is going through this really messed up situation, and I wanted to take care of her. And so for me, when I'm going through a really hard time, I really like to isolate. I like to be by myself. I like to do my little routines and whatever, and take the time that my body and my emotional state needs to rest, because like I told you, I am an emotional sensitive girl, and I love to cry, and I love to just let it all out and really engulf myself in my feelings, which for me seems like the obvious, like, duh, you have to go through it, you have to feel all these things, and then I'm going to feel better after 2 days and everything's going to be wonderful. Some people cannot physically wrap their head around how I cry so much, or why I'm so emotional about the things that I am, or why I'm so sensitive about things. But it's just because we're different. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going through something and somebody else doesn't understand what you need during this time, or they try and make you feel weird about what you need, do not try to change yourself to seem different to somebody else. You are probably just going to end up feeling worse. That's not to say if somebody's advising you something, like in this video, I'm going to give you a few tips of mine that I always do when I'm stuck in a rut or when I'm really not feeling good. Things that just genuinely help me. That's advice. You can take it or leave it, but I will never make you feel bad for not listening to my advice, or I'll never make you feel bad for not doing what I've told you to do, because at the end of the day, you know yourself better than anybody else. And I say this in, I think, literally every episode I've put out. The relationship you have with yourself is the most important one. You need to understand who you are, even if nobody else does. And you need to be very comfortable with being misunderstood by others, because at the end of the day, it is you and you alone who's going to make sure that you get through whatever it is. It's you and you alone that's going to make sure that you are fully taken care of and back to yourself, and you found yourself again, or you've recentered. I feel like you guys kind of understand the context of where I'm coming from now. So let's get into the things that make me feel better and make me feel my best. Without a doubt, there are certain things that I make sure that I have in my weekly routine if I know I'm having a hard week. One of the habits that I honestly have kept since I was very little, I mean, I'm talking 8, 9, 10, is I've always had a journal. And I know that now this is a trend and now it's very popular and you can see it all over TikTok that everyone's like, journal, gratitude journal, blah, 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 all of these things. While I think it is important to write down things that you're grateful for and things that you share gratitude for, which is something new that I've added to my journaling routine, I always found a lot of comfort in journaling because it was a place of solitude where I physically could see how I was feeling and I could write out exactly the play by play of why the situation, how I'm feeling, all this, and I could see it in a page. It just was the biggest brain dump for me my journals, I always hid them really well, so nobody ever read them. Journaling has always been something for me that was very sacred and special. It was a place that if I had gone to anybody else and I had dumped out all of my feelings like that, first of all, as I got older, I did realize something, that my emotional well-being is not anybody else's responsibility. And that was something I struggled with for a long time because I always felt like this little girl that was dealing with emotions that were way too big for her and I didn't know how to navigate them. So I would try and share or dump them on people. And when they couldn't help me, because they didn't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knew how to deal with the things it was like a crazy, they just didn't know, like, they're not trained professionals. I'm going and I'm dumping on friends or I'm dumping on family or whatever it may be. And they didn't know how to navigate the situation for me. And it left me feeling even worse or unfulfilled, or it caused issues for me because it felt like somebody was trying to carry my burdens and they weren't helping me. So it's like a waste of it, whatever it may be. A journal for me is where I felt that I could unapologetically and authentically share exactly how I was feeling. And it was for me. And I could reflect on it later, or I could write about it and let it go and never look at it again. It was up to me, right? Or if it was a long-term situation I was having problems with, it was something that I could just continuously keep up to date with in my feelings, and it really made me feel better. Sometimes journaling is not for everybody. Maybe people are lazy. There are a lot of different and new platforms. Some people will use like their computers and do videos about how they're feeling. Some people, there's a really good app. Oh my gosh, I think I'm blanking on the name. Talkbook or something like that. Talkbook, Talk Journal, Talk Diary. It's something like that where basically it will record a video of you venting, ranting, whatever it may be, and it will write down everything that you're saying for you. So you have it. So it's like all you have to do is talk to a camera and it will journal everything and all your feelings for you and follow the conversation, which I think is amazing if you don't like to journal or that's not your cup of tea. I feel like all of my solutions or all of my advice is really tailored to me personally just because I like to feel my feelings, even if they're negative or not good or it's a hard situation I'm navigating. I really need to sit with my feelings and feel them to the deepest of my ability in order to process and move forward. Some people are not like that. Some people just want to sweep it under the rug and go on. And there's nothing wrong with that if that works for you. It's just all about finding what works for you. For me, journaling has always been something that worked. I started this routine, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I found a place locally that has sauna booths that are private. So they're private rooms that you can go and they have a TV in them and you have your own private sauna booth and it's like 45 minutes of just you. And if you've ever been inside of a sauna, your phone overheats, so you can't even use your phone, which is amazing. So anytime that I am truly just overwhelmed and stressed and I need to decompress more quickly, I will go and do a sauna booth for 45 minutes. I will sweat out all of my frustration, which I think is so interesting because I just lay there. I used to try and work out and like do a really strong HIIT workout class to get my stress or my anger or whatever it is out. And I feel like that would just spike my adrenaline and my cortisol and make me even more amped up at the end of the class. But a sauna session, I literally am laying there like this in the booth and I'm just sweating out all of my frustrations. And I'm by myself, which is amazing. So I can think through everything. There's a TV. I put on my favorite little YouTube videos and I just completely forget that the world exists for that time. And it has helped me tremendously. And I've done this for years now. Like, this is something I look forward to. I get excited because I always know mentally, like, I don't know what it is. There's something so healing about physically sweating it out. And given it doesn't always have to be this extreme, or maybe you don't have a place like this near you, I do think that working out is an amazing way to relieve some of that stress. And depending on who you are and what your interests are, a workout for you might be a very long walk, like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hour walk, or it could be a yoga class, or it could be a boxing class. It could be Pilates, it could be something. It totally is dependent on you. And I think that emotions and navigating difficult times, there's no one size fits all. And I think that that's so important to remember during this time. Some formula that works for somebody else to deal with difficult situations might not work for you. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And there's nothing wrong with that. All the advice I'm giving you today, take it with a grain of salt. Try it if you are going through something difficult. But if it doesn't work for you, don't feel bad, because there is something out there that will work for you that maybe won't work for me. Something that I've picked up since I moved into my own apartment, I have saved one of my favorite book series since I was little. It's called The Click. I literally read this series when I was like elementary, middle school time, and I collected each and every one of the books. It's a huge series and I have it displayed on there's like a built-in bookcase thing in my apartment. And anytime I'm so fucking pissed and done with life and the world and I just truly want to disconnect, I will go and pick up one of those books and it keeps me off my phone for 2 hours. And I just get lost and I just feel like a kid again, and I feel like my problems are gone and all this stuff, and it's amazing. Another thing that I have started to do, and this is more in like the morning time that I feel like I've started to do this, and this is even on days that I'm really not stressed out. I will go and I will do my best to just lay in the sun for 20 or 30 minutes. I don't know if it's placebo, I don't know if there's science behind it, but sometimes a little bit of sunshine on my body just makes me feel more calm and at peace. And it helps me feel good. I recently read an article about how dancing is a really silly cure for any negative feelings or emotions, even to go as far as people who have these feelings of depression. They will just dance for 20 minutes and it helps them relieve and alleviate some of these feelings. I don't know what the science is behind that, but I've tried it a few times and I think that it works very well. So if that's something that you're interested in trying in the privacy of your own room, of your own home, whatever it may be, put on some really upbeat, fun music for 20 minutes and just like bump it out. I also feel this is more something I do every single morning just to start my day off better, but this is something specifically I try and do when I'm really stressed or I'm not feeling my best that day. I have a certain playlist that I play and it is all like early 2000s happy movie music. Like, do you know those certain there are certain songs from soundtracks of movies and TV shows that are always just happy and very nostalgic. I love those songs. So like the Beatles, Here Comes the Sun, Upside Down, the movie the song that was in Curious George, always puts me in a really good mood. Oh my God, Burning Love by Elvis Presley always makes me think of like Lilo and Stitch, and that always puts me in a good mood. I'm always trying to set myself up for positive days, and sometimes by doing the pre-work, you almost prevent the negative days. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you start your day with a very intense or something really crazy that jumps your cortisol and jumps your adrenaline and gets you excited for the day, it might have some negative effects versus starting your mornings off softer. But like I said, it is so personal. Maybe you need that really high intensity music to get in your rhythm and in your beat, and my type of music would put you to sleep. It's completely dependent on who you are. There have been a few times that I was in a really, really rough patch in life and I really felt low, and I saw this on Instagram and it did work for me, where you eat an orange in the shower. I'm just going to throw that out there in case if anybody is really kind of desperado and is like, okay, I need something to make me feel a little bit happy right now, I think you should try dancing, and I think you should try eating an orange in the shower and see how you feel. This is more focused around, okay, so you've calmed yourself down. I feel like all of my advice, aside from journaling, I think journaling can really help you navigate through a problem or through some negative emotion in your life. And the rest is kind of to ease your mood and make you feel better. But I genuinely do think that everything is setting you up to calm you down. And now when you have to go back in and actually deal with the problem, maybe it's a current problem, a conflict with you and somebody or anything like that, trying to see both sides and understand both sides. And something that I've worked on for the past 2 years that I think has tremendously helped me just in life and dealing with people is that it's not always about right and wrong. You don't always need to feel like you have to be seen, you have to be heard, you have to be understood. It's okay if people misunderstand you. It's okay if somebody thinks that they're 100% right in the situation and you think you're 100% right in the situation. Sometimes your peace of mind is worth more than winning an argument. And you need to realize that. Like sometimes it's okay. Genuinely, the amount of times that I have walked away and kept my peace by just saying, let's agree to disagree about something. Oh my gosh. But I truly am a believer, like call me devil's advocate, two truths can exist at the same time. You might think you're 100% right about something. Somebody else might think they're 100% right about something. And it just leads to this conflict and it's going in circles and it's not going anywhere. Obviously, this doesn't apply to all situations because not all situations are internal, external conflict. It's not always necessarily you and somebody. It might just be a time in your life where you're feeling a little uneasy or something like that. And that's completely different. But if the issues you're having in your life right now have to do with somebody else and they have to involve somebody else, I want you to try allowing yourself to get really comfortable with being misunderstood. Allow yourself to walk away from situations without the validation of feeling like, yeah, I was right. I proved my point. I shut them down. I made my point. Like, okay, you can believe you're right. They're going to believe that they're right. At the end of the day, the world is still going to spin. It's still going to go on no matter who's right or wrong, whether they understand you or not. Nothing's going to change. Just you need to start dealing with situations less about feeling understood and walk away from situations knowing that you dealt with it in a way that's going to allow you to sleep at night. And that's something that has taken a huge burden off of my shoulders and has helped me time and time again. This is truly, it's so funny, and this has been something that's been in my head for so long, but just because a dog barks at you does not mean you start getting on all four legs and barking back. People will come at you sideways in this life. You have to decide if you are going to interrupt your peace to try and prove a point. Interrupt your peace to try and make somebody value you or see you for who you are or da 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 da. You are responsible for protecting your peace. And don't let anybody fuck that shit up. Literally, if somebody is walking into your life and disturbing that peace and constantly putting you down, constantly berating you, constantly fighting with you, blah, 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 thank you. You have to take everything they say. It's so difficult to do because sometimes this person will be somebody that you hold high value of in your life. It might be a long-term partner. It might be a family member. It might be a best friend of many years. And you're like, I value everything this person says. Why are they coming at me so crazy? And you're trying to defend yourself and you want to be perceived a certain way by this person. Girl, it is so not worth it. Like literally let them think and say and do whatever the hell that they feel. At the end of the day, you cannot control how anybody else feels about you. And if they have issues with you, it is not your responsibility to convince them that you are something that you're not. If they're coming at you and calling you a liar, you are not going to spend every waking minute for the next 2 weeks trying to convince this person that you're not a liar. If they want to believe you're a liar, let them fucking believe you're a liar and move on with your life. If you know who you are and you are confident in yourself and you know you're a good person and you know that you're honest and you're doing your best every single day, who gives a flying fuck what anybody else thinks? It's insane the way that we will morph and try and transform ourselves to adapt and make somebody like us. Do you even like yourself? If you don't like yourself, that's where the problem is. Who gives a fuck if they like you? Do you like yourself? Yes or no? This was quite an episode. I feel like we got into it a little bit, and this is going to be very fun to edit because I feel like it was a little bit all over the place, but I hope that you genuinely love and care for yourself, and you are taking the best care of yourself, and you understand nobody in this life is going to give you grace. So give that shit to yourself. Stop waiting for people to forgive you. Stop waiting for people to see you as a good person. Who gives a fuck what people think? If you know that you are authentically showing up every day to the best of your ability, you are a good and honest person, and you know that your intentions are pure, go live your life. Stop being held down by the shackles of other people's opinions. Go and live your life. I think I'm going to end the episode here, you guys. Thank you so, so, so much for showing up today and for listening to this entire podcast episode. You guys have no idea how much this means to me. This has been one of the latest joys in my life. I will have all of the socials linked below if you want to check me out on Instagram or anything like that. And I appreciate you for being here. And if you are going through kind of a medium time or a difficult time in your life right now, you're not alone, and we are in this together. And I am so proud of you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this and hopefully try something new from anything I've suggested. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we are going to get through it together. And I love you. So I will see you next week. Bye.